Welcome everybody to another VOD on my YouTube channel, Color On Demand. Today we have a really intense match between two protoss players on Delta Quadrant. One of them is Wilko, a German player, and the other one is Joe, who is to my knowledge from Denmark. We'll jump right into the match and let's see what these two players are up to. We have Joe spawning as the blue protoss player in the bottom right of the map, and his opponent Wilko is starting at the top right. Both players are protoss. We have a mirror match, and I can assure you that this is not going to be a boring 4-gate match, but a really intense, though short game between those two Master League players. Wilko is just referring to the Copenhagen LAN as Joe was participating at the Assembly LAN. And well, Wilko himself is playing a lot of tournaments recently. He's from Germany and is a Master League player, as is Joe. Wilko with roughly 3,800 points in the Master League. Joe has about 3,500 to my knowledge. And both players are just adding their parlance in the main bases. Wilko right now just talking a little bit. The chit-chat in the early game, nothing special. On Delta Quadrant we have the pylon being finished, and immediately Wilko is starting with his first chrono boosting the Nexus to get a lot more probes as fast as possible. And we see at the bottom right, we see that Joe isn't using his chrono boost. He's just saving up energy, added the first gateway. Protoss player on the top right is obviously doing the same, just adding a gateway in his main base and starting to scout with one of his probes. And we see another gate immediately for Joe, who's trying to scout the position of his opponent with his probe now as well, and started to rally his units directly to the main base of his opponent. He's just scouting with his probe, and we have a double gate opening for Joe, whereas the opponent of him is just using this first assimilator. It's just warping the first assimilator in. Is relying on one gate. Is being scouted right now by Joe, so he's right about his the start position of his opponent. We see the assimilator being finished immediately. The first probes are getting some gas. He's currently using 4 probes, just pulling one off in order to get the perfect number of probes that harvest gas. We see the cybernetics core being built, and in the meantime the probe of Wilko is entering the main base of Joe, scouting those 2 gateways, and here come the chrono boosts. The chrono boosts for Joe, who's producing more probes obviously as well. And in the main base we already have the probe being active, just scouting a little bit, seeing the cybernetics core, and the first zealot is already on his way. The second one will join him soon, and number 3 is already being built as well. Right now on the unit counting station we see 2 zealots on the map for the Danish player, and 18 to 14 harvesters so far, so Wilko is a little bit ahead with his economy. We have a chrono boost for the warp gate technology at the cybernetics core for Wilko, and now the zealot of Joe is just attacking the economy of his opponent. We have one zealot out for Wilko as well, and Joe is just waiting a little bit. He knows he has a lot of more units up on the way, and we have one additional gateway for Wilko being built. He tries to block off his economy line just a little bit. Those 2 zealots are entering the base of Wilko, and right now all those probes are dying. Wilko losing a lot of probes. Right there is down to 14 probes, 14 harvesters. Those 2 zealots are dealing a huge amount of damage to Wilko's economy. Wilko lost quite a lot of probes. On the losing counting station we see that he lost in 9 units so far. Was able to repel the attack though, so all the zealots of Joe just died, but there are 2 more zealots just coming in, and of course the protoss player from Denmark is building more and more zealots, and is once again trying to attack the economy of his opponent. Here is one more zealot just attacking those probes, killing another one, and Wilko is losing a lot of economy right there. He's down to 10 probes. He's starting to build more harvesters as we speak. He's down to 10 right now, and losing another one. So he's really dealing a lot of damage to the zealot of his opponent, killing off that last zealot, but his economy is really weak as at the moment. We have 14 harvesters against 9. And Joe has quite a nice advantage in regards to his economy. But army-wise, we have stalkers out on the field for Wilko, so he can try to micro and use the superior range of his stalkers against the melee units of his opponent. Right now, another Zealot is trying to attack the economy of Wilko, losing two more probes. We are down to 8 probes for the German Protoss player. 17 probes for Joe. Joe building a cybernetics core and is of course adding more Zealots, trying to repel the army of Wilko, because Wilko now attacking himself, trying to make some effort to win this game. After all, he has 2 Stalkers out on the field and 2 Zealots as well, just trying to focus the melee units of his opponent and immediately killing another Zealot. More units are streaming into the main base of Joe. Joe only has 3 Zealots so far, and of course a huge problem at his hands, trying to get some Stalkers into the game in order to deal with the Stalkers of his opponent. Right now he has 1 out and is trying to focus the Stalker of Wilko. He has already 6 kills. Wilko retreating, is trying to get his units into safety, but now has to wait a little bit for more reinforcements come to help him out. And we have 3 Stalkers for Wilko, but he will lose 1 more. Will lose 1 of his Stalkers, dying right now. With a supply count, we have 23 supply against 25 on the unit counting station. We see that Wilko is still in a lot of trouble economy-wise. 19 harvesters for his opponent, but right now the army of Wilko is superior, attacking once again those Stalkers of Joe, and more units for Wilko are just streaming into the main base of the Danish Protoss player, and he's just losing more Stalkers as we speak, trying to retreat into the back of space, waiting for more units being built. He doesn't have the warp gate technology so far, and one of the Zealots of Wilko is just attacking the harvesters of Joe. Another one is just joining him, so Joe now in a lot of trouble as all those units of Wilko are attacking his harvesters, but more units for Joe are being built, and he's just adding 2 more gateways in his main base. We have another Stalker of Wilko as well as a Zealot. Both are trying to finish the last units of the Danish Protoss player, but Joe is doing quite a good job at defending his base. He's still on 16-9 harvesters, so he's a huge lead economy-wise, but with the army, he has quite a lot of trouble of keeping his Stalkers alive against those units of Wilko, and Wilko, it starts to focus on killing those probes once again. So right now, Joe is quite struggling a lot, because he has really a hard time with only 2 gates out and just trying to warp in more units, but he's down to 1 Stalker against 2 Zealots and a Stalker of Wilko, and another Stalker is just joining the army of the German Protoss player, and all those Zealots are heading towards the economy line. We are right now on 11 harvesters for Joe against 9 of Wilko. So in the meantime, Wilko was able to kill at least some probes in order to get the economy advantage over his opponent. Wilko with a superior army just attacking the units of Joe, finishing another Stalker. 1 more Zealot is out on the field for the Danish player, and he's losing him immediately. Another one being targeted by those Stalkers. A nice micro, but Wilko is still losing one of these Stalkers, and 1 sentry out for Joe. God knows what he wants to accomplish with that one. And GG! He's done for. No army in the main base. No more army in the main base of Joe, and he just lost the game to Wilko. After a lot of nice pressure in the early game with his 2-gate opening, Wilko was finally able to triumph over his opponent. Joe just killed a lot of SVs of his opponent. He was down to 9 probes, but he focused a little bit too much on his own economy after that. Built tons of probes, invested a lot of minerals into his economy, had about 18 probes, should have built more units and another gate a little bit sooner, and well, the army of Wilko was just superior. He had the advantage with those Stalkers, just being able to pick off 1 Zealot after another, and a nice micro by the German Protoss player. So a really intense game between those 2 players. I hope you enjoyed it. It was quite a short one, but I really liked it due to the tactic of Joe. Was some kind of a little bit of a different Protoss play that we normally see. We have seen a lot of 4-gating at the weekend at the Justin TV Invitational. This one was a quickie, but a really nice game between those 2. Wilko was able to triumph over Joe, but still the game was quite close, and if Joe hadn't just produced too many probes after damaging the economy of his opponent, I think he might have won that game. Like that, Wilko was able to come back into the match and win it after all. So really good job by the German Protoss player. I hope you enjoyed the match, and well guys, we will see each other soon again with more live streams and of course VODs on my English YouTube channel. So have a nice day and take care. Bye bye.